Hey guys, Jen here, the Feel Good Life Coach, and just wanted to talk about something real quick, and that is the difference between procrastination and resistance. So a lot of you may not know this because it's been a while, but in 2008, I started a blog called Procrastinating Writers, and the reason I did that was because I was a procrastinating writer. I was a writer who never sat down and did my writing, would put it off all the time, would make everything else more important than my writing. And so I thought Procrastinating Writer was the perfect title for me. And so that was my blog, and that was the blog that I ran for many, many years. That's the blog I built my coaching business off of initially and all that stuff. But over the years, I've learned that there's actually a huge difference between procrastination and resistance. So I'm going to now break down what that difference is for you so you can tell whether what you're dealing with is procrastination or if it's resistance. And I'm going to also tell you how to deal with it, right? So how to actually to get rid of it. So the first thing is you need to know whether what you have going on is actually procrastination because you don't want to do the thing, or procrastination because you're resisting something you know you're meant to be doing. Two very different things, right? So the first thing, let's just get that one out of the way completely, which is you're procrastinating because it's something you don't actually want to be doing, right? So I would look at that in the case of like, do you have a should there somewhere? Is there something someone told you that you have to do or that you need to do? Is it something you believe you need to do or that you think you should do or think you have to do, but you don't really want to do it, right? So one example for me would be early on in my business. So back when I first started it in I started it in 2010, technically 2007 if you count my freelance writing, but 2010 I was doing coaching. And in 2012, when I went full time and quit my day job, I was like very, very caught up on the fact that like I did not want to do sales calls, right? So I hated getting on the phone with people and trying to talk to them about stuff and trying to sell them into my program. Like that just never felt good to me. It never felt like something I wanted to do. So one of the things I always procrastinated on back then was booking sales calls, right? So telling people about my discovery calls, my free discovery calls, and getting them on the phone with me. And the reason I procrastinated on it is because I didn't want to freaking do it, right? I just didn't want to do it. So there's a difference, right, between that, you just don't want to do the damn thing, right? So like dishes, I hate doing dishes. So that is the thing I procrastinate on the most, right? Is I just don't ever do the dishes until I absolutely don't have a choice. And then of course I do them in the most feel-good way I possibly can, usually listening to music and whatever. But that's something I procrastinate on because I don't want to freaking do it, right? And that is very different than I procrastinate on something because I'm resisting something I know I'm meant to be doing, right? So huge, huge difference there. So on that side of things, right? So I'll give you an example for that as well. But for me, my writing was always back in the day, the thing that I resisted the most because I knew from a very young age, I was born to be a writer, right? That I was meant to be a writer. That's who I am at my core. That's who I'm always going to be. And no matter what else I do on top of all of that, I will always still be a writer and I will always come back to writing as my core thing. So I knew that, right? And I always knew that my entire life. That's why I went to journalism school. That's why I got a degree in it, like all that stuff. But I didn't actually commit to doing the writing for a really long time because I had a lot of resistance around it, right? So I told myself I was a procrastinating writer. Oh, I procrastinate. I'm a procrastinating writer. Like I just procrastinate. But really, it wasn't procrastination. It was resistance, right? So the resistance is I know that I'm meant to be doing something, but I have all these other underlying things that are making me not want to do it, right? That are stopping me from doing it. And we call that procrastination, but that's not really what it is. So if you deal with the underlying things that are causing the resistance, and like I said, I'll give you an example in a second, then you can see that the procrastination is just going to go away, right? Because now you're not going to be resisting the thing anymore. And because it's something you actually want to be doing and something you know you're meant to be doing, you're going to just do it now, right? Because you got rid of the things that were actually stopping you, and you're just not going to procrastinate because you're like, yeah, I'm good. Like I really want to be doing this. So couple examples. One would be the writing, like I said. So I had a point where I wasn't writing at all, barely. I was putting it off as much as possible. I was doing dishes before I would write. That would never happen now. But things like that, right? So I was doing a lot of things in place of like the writing I knew I was meant to be doing, knew that I wanted to be doing. So the underlying issue there was that I didn't feel good enough, right? I didn't feel like I was good enough to be a successful writer, to be a writer that somebody would actually want to pay and buy a book from, a writer who someone would want to read and follow and like pay attention to. At that time, in my journey, I did not believe that I was good enough for that. And so it was easier to procrastinate and just put it off than it was to deal with the fact that I felt not good enough, right? So the underlying issue was feeling not good enough, right? It was that unworthy feeling that was causing the resistance, and that was what was making me procrastinate. But it wasn't actually that I had a problem with procrastination. What I had a problem with was feeling unworthy, right? I had a problem with mindset stuff. I had a problem with not recognizing that I actually was scared in a lot of ways to be the successful writer that I desired to be, because I felt like I might not be able to do it, right? Another example, recent one for me, is that I've been on TikTok, the social media site, if you haven't heard of this or if you're not on there. Since earlier this year during the pandemic, I joined because I was bored and I just wanted to check it out and see what it was all about. And everyone was talking about it and all that. So I've been on there all year just looking at videos, watching videos, and I've tried a couple of things here and there, but I really was like, okay, what I wanted to do on there was make fashion videos, fashion how-to videos, like teach people styling tricks and all this stuff, because that is something I've always just been in my own personal life, like obsessed with, right? Is fashion. I love clothes. I love styling. I've always wanted to be like a personal stylist. I thought that would be such a fun job. So that's something I always enjoyed doing. And as I was watching videos on TikTok, I started to notice like there really aren't a lot of really good how-to fashion videos. Like there's a lot of fashion videos that are like maybe more high style, more high-end like designer stuff, but there wasn't any like day-to-day like fashion videos for someone like me who's like a stay-at-home person, right? I work from home, I'm an entrepreneur, so I don't necessarily need to get dressed up to go to an office or dressed up to go anywhere. Sometimes I'm just at home doing my thing. So I was like, oh, I could make videos like that and I think it'd be really cool. But I stopped, like I procrastinated on it, right? All year I was thinking about it and watching other people's videos and thinking about it and talking about it in my head and like all these things, but I wasn't actually taking action. I was procrastinating. So a few days ago, or really a few weeks ago, but a few days ago, I started to really look at what is the underlying reason that that's happening. Because I know that this is something I feel like doing, right? I could feel internally like this was a desire that I wanted to make these videos and I wanted to do fashion stuff. Like that's something I've always known. So like, why was I not doing it then, right? Why was I procrastinating on something that I really wanted to be doing? So that's when you're looking at the underlying issues. Okay, so what was coming up? Well, first of all, I just felt too fucking old to be on TikTok making fashion videos. Like that was kind of the first thing, was like, are you crazy? Like you're not a 20-year-old. Like TikTok's not meant for you, right? That's not, but again, that's a belief, that's a mindset, and that's a story that I had around age, around what's appropriate for, a social media site, etc. So that was something I had to deal with. I had, some stuff going on internally about like, will people even care about what I'm doing? Like, will people want to see these videos? Like, would anyone even be interested in it? Like, are they even going to think that I'm stylish? Or are they going to be like, girl, you're dreaming. Like, you're not fashionable. You're not stylish. Like, get over yourself. Who knows, right? But that was the stuff that was going on internally that I wasn't dealing with or looking at. And so that was actually what was stopping me from making the videos and from actually doing the stuff to make the videos like I knew I wanted to. So in that case, it wasn't actually procrastination, it was resistance because of all these underlying things, right? All these underlying stories, belief systems, things that people had told me, etc. So that was what was going on. So that's how you know the difference, right? That's how you can tell, am I procrastinating because I just really don't want to do this thing, and so I'm just going to keep putting it off because I just don't want to do it? Or am I procrastinating because I'm resisting something I know I'm meant to be doing, and in order to not procrastinate anymore, I have to now deal with these underlying things that I'm not willing to deal with or haven't been willing to deal with up until now. So I did that, right? Because like I said, I definitely knew I wanted to do this. So I dealt with whatever was going on, the mindset around and the story around being too old for it. Like, why would anyone care, etc. And I'm like, who cares, right? I'm not doing this for that. I'm doing it for me. I'm doing it because it's fun for me and I enjoy it and it feels good. And one of my things in life is that if something feels good to me and I enjoy it, then I'm going to do it even if it doesn't get me an outcome of any kind. I'm going to do it for the sake of it because I enjoy it and it feels good, which honestly I believe is the ultimate outcome anyway, right? We want to feel good. That's why we do anything. So in that, it was something that I knew would add to that for me. It would make me feel really good to be doing these videos and to sharing what I know about fashion and style and all that stuff. So I cleared all of those underlying things. And now there's no resistance, right? So the procrastination just went away on its own. So this week, I've literally made 3 fashion videos every day, and it's been so easy and so fun, and I can literally easily see myself just doing this every day now because I enjoy it, and it's fun, and it's something that I want to be doing. Not procrastinating on it because it's something I think I should be doing, or someone told me I should, or I believe that I need to do that, but I don't actually want to. Now, if you do have things like that going on and you are procrastinating on something where you're like, yeah, I don't necessarily want to do it. I don't really, like, it's something you're putting off because you don't want to do it. But at the same time, you know, like, this is something that actually has to get done at some point. Then I would ask yourself, first of all, can I get someone else to do it for me? Like, could I hire this out? Could I give someone else some money to do this for me? Could I do that, right? Because that's always an option that you have. If not, it's how can I make doing this thing feel good so that I'll just do it, right? And get it done so that it's over and it's finished and I don't have to procrastinate on it anymore. There's always something you can do to make it feel better. Like I was saying at the beginning of the live stream, one of my literal things that I hate doing is dishes. Like, absolutely despise doing dishes. Absolutely will, like, do everything else besides that. Will leave the dishes piled in the sink until there are no more silverware, and then I don't have a choice but to put everything in the dishwasher and wash it. Like, that's me procrastinating on dishes because I hate doing dishes. But obviously, I like to cook. Therefore, there are going to be dishes sometimes, and I like to eat. So I'm going to need silverware, I'm going to need dishes. So for that reason, I know at some point, even if I'm going to procrastinate for a few days or however long, I'm going to have to do the dishes at some point. So how I do stop myself from procrastinating is I make it fun, right? I make it feel good. I'll either listen to audios from like my coaches or inspirational videos or things, or I'll just put on some music that I really like and that I will like dance while I'm like putting the dishes in the dishwasher and sing along and just kind of feel really good while I'm doing it. Then I can take that thing that I don't want to do that doesn't feel good and I can make it feel good, and then that will stop me from procrastinating on it because now doing it is going to feel good to me, and it will feel good on the other side to know, oh, I got this done and it's finished now, right? Like, think about if you are talking about a dishes in your sink, like, think about that feeling you have when the sink is empty, right? And the kitchen is clean. It's like a very peaceful feeling. You feel like really good about it. So of course you want that feeling. And now you're going to get it by not procrastinating on doing the dishes, by, making it fun. That was just an example, like I said. But the point is, you need to look at this for yourself, right? So you need to look at what are the things I'm procrastinating on right now, and then ask yourself, is this something I actually want to be doing? Or am I putting it off because I just don't want to do it, right? And in that case, maybe you just don't need to. Like, maybe it's just something you can say, I'm just not going to do this, and that's it. Or like I said, hire it out or find a way to make it fun. Either way. But that's the first part. The second part is if you're procrastinating on something that you do want to be doing, that you're like, actually, I do want to do this, and I really, like, I can feel the guidance, the inspiration inside that, like, I want to do this thing, but you're resisting it, then you want to look at, okay, well, what's really going on there, right? So what is actually coming up for me that's making me procrastinate, that's causing this resistance? And most likely, there's fear, there's doubts, there's definitely some stories going on, things you're telling yourself about it that are not actually true, but you're telling yourself stories about it, it has to be this way, or it has to be done like this, or I'm not that kind of person, or whatever it is you've been telling yourself, right? Those are just stories that you've made up, or that you've been told, or that you're programmed with, but you are not actually that, right? Those are just stories, you can change them. So you got to look at both of those things. And if it's something you don't want to be doing, that's a different story. But if it's something you know you're meant to be doing, then you definitely want to deal with that resistance, because I promise you, if you deal with those underlying things, the procrastination is going to take care of itself. It's just going to go away. Now, with dishes, I will never not procrastinate, right? Because I hate doing dishes. So that's never going to change for me. I'm always going to procrastinate on doing my dishes, most likely. That's not going to change. But if it's something I know I want to be doing, something I'm meant to be doing, writing, making fashion videos, whatever it is, then I know that I have to deal with the underlying things that are causing the procrastination so that I can actually do the thing that I want to be doing. Because otherwise, like, what's the point, right? That's the whole point of life, is to do the things you want to do and the things that feel good to you and that you're excited about. But that doesn't always mean that you're not going to have some level of resistance or fear or doubt or whatever going on, right? So that's something that you have to just be committed to dealing with and looking at for yourself. And it can be scary, like I said, but it's okay. Like, you'll be okay, you will survive, and you will be better because of it, because you're going to get yourself to a place where now you can do the things you want to do without that resistance, without that procrastination. So now every day I'm like, get up and I think about like, oh, what am I going to wear today? What video am I going to make? Like, there's no resistance there anymore like there was before, because I had stories and beliefs and things that were just getting in the way. So that is what I'm going to leave you with. Let me know if you have any questions. I would love to hear any insights that come up for you if you try this on your own self. And if you want to rewrite your inner stories, if you're ready to stop living a Groundhog Day life where the same thing is pretty much happening over and over and over again, you're not really getting anywhere, you're not really getting the results you want, you're starting to feel kind of like on a hamster wheel, and you're ready to own the fact that you are where you are and it's okay, and tell a new story, right, to get a new result and get a different result in your life, then be sure to check out my upcoming group workshop. It is happening December 1st through January 26th. There will be a 2-week break for Christmas and New Year's, but we'll still be doing some fun stuff during that time as well. But the actual program will be the first 3 weeks of December and the first 3 weeks of January, with that 2-week break where we're, like I said, doing a couple of fun things, which you can check out on the sales page. But definitely go check this out, because it is really, really key if you want anything in your life that you don't have right now, to address, to deal with, to reprogram any stories, any beliefs, any ways of thinking or ways of being that are not in alignment with you having that thing. Because if you don't do that, you will never have that thing, and that would suck, right? That would be really shitty, and you deserve better than that. So go check this workshop out. It is going to be amazing. I'm going to show you how to reprogram all your inner stories so that you can start doing the things you want to be doing, living the way you want to live, living the life you desire for yourself, being in alignment with the desires that you have, and receiving more of the things you want to have because of it. So go to jenniferblanchard.net/rewrite-your-life to check it out. I will also drop a link in the comments. That is it for me. I will see you guys soon. And until then, remember, feeling good is the point and the path.